So now, please welcome our first speaker, Sharif Alkhayat. Sharif is a grade 11 student here at AISG who ranked second in China for U18 Men's 2025 by the International Trail Running Association. He will be presenting a personal narrative on what it means to be resilient. A warm round of applause for Sharif and his talk, The Permission Slip.
Test. Test, right? This was offered from a place of best intentions. This was offered with genuine love. It made sense, it was logical, and it was designed to save me from pain. This is a piece of advice we've all received at some point. The advice that reads, maybe you should quit. My experience with this advice came from my very own father, a man who saw me suffer. He'd watched me fail again and again at something that I was passionate about, something that I loved. And he offered what felt like a lifeline. He gave me a permission slip. He said, son, if you're going to lose, stop racing. He handed me a permission slip, a perfectly clear, compassionate response to let me quit. And I want to talk to you today about what we do with these permission slips. Do we cash them in, or do we realize they might be made for a detour that we never saw coming? My story isn't really about sports. It's about the roads that come up when the main highway is too far, and how the most beautiful and efficient roads are oftentimes on those detours that we never expected. My first major detour wasn't my choice. As a child, at the age of 10, I was diagnosed with an illness in my right hip and made me sit in a wheelchair for 2 years. I was unable to walk. My world became very small and very quiet. The path most kids were on, running, jumping, walking, was simply not on my itinerary. But on a detour, you have a choice. You can look out the dashboard, or you can look out the window. And I chose to look out the window. With an immeasurable amount of boredom, I even learned the patterns of sunlight on the floor. And with an incredible amount of curiosity, I decided to learn to do a wheelie on the 2 back wheels of the wheelchair. It was a small act of asking, what can this vehicle do on this unexpected road? It was my first lesson in navigation. When I got back on my feet, I soon hit the next detour. I broke my right arm, 3 fingers, and my right toe. Another stop, another cast, another unexpected detour. It felt like everything was falling apart. I was becoming familiar with the feeling of plans dissolving. I gained the skill of the lost tourist. When you can't move forward, you learn to observe and see what's around you. During my recovery, I started to run. But my body, with its history, wasn't a huge fan. So I started to hike, and eventually I started running on those trails. But this is the magic of detours. They show you things you weren't expecting. They show you things you didn't know you needed. On those trails, I found a mental silence I didn't know I needed. The path demanded such total focus, step here, avoid that, jump over this rock, that it crowded out every other noise in my head. The anxiety, the pressure, the what-ifs, they all faded away under the simple, immediate task of moving forward on the ground in front of me. As I began to learn, the most efficient way to run down a mountain is to look up and observe the next 5 steps ahead of you. With that in mind, I was able to look into the future. I was ambitious, and I asked the question, what if I take this feeling to a start line? What if I raced? So I did, and I was terrible at it. Continuously, publicly, undoubtedly terrible. Each finish line felt like a door slamming shut. The message was clear. You do not belong here. My response was pure, rigid force. I pushed harder. I pushed more. I tried to muscle my way through failure. I was refusing to see the signs of the hazardous road. My father saw the toll from his limitless love. He offered what felt like a logical exit. The permission slip. If you're going to lose, stop racing. It was the kindest thing. It made perfect sense, and for weeks I carried it around with me. It felt heavy, and it also felt like relief. I was ready to sign it. But then I thought about my other detours. The wheelchair, the broken arms, the broken fingers. I never chose those detours, but only on those detours that I learned the most important lesson. To look out the window and ask, what's here that I'm not seeing? Could I apply that to the slip? Was it only permission to stop, or was it permission to maybe change the road? He was giving me permission to stop the pain, but what if I use his permission slip to stop the thing that was causing the pain? My suffocating definition of what running and success meant. His slip forced the ultimate question. What was this race for? Well, if the race was for the trophies and for the podium, then he was right. Maybe I should quit. But what if the race was for something else? What if the race was a detour pointing me towards my real destination? I granted myself a different permission slip. I gave myself permission to be a student, permission to be curious, and permission to change a destination from the podium to understanding what resilience truly meant to me. I didn't stop racing. I stopped racing for a trophy, and I started racing for an education. This was the beauty of the detours. I found a coach. We stopped grinding and we started studying. Each race, each training session became a chapter in a book. And those failures, the races where I did horrible, those were the most important chapters in the textbook. Those were the races that taught me what I needed to change. My curiosity set free and became my most powerful muscle. I had redefined courage. It was no longer the absence of fear, but caring more about the lesson than I cared the judgment. When you stop fighting a detour and start understanding it, everything changes. My relationship with running changed from a war into a simple conversation. And slowly, inevitably, the results changed with it. This unwinding, unplanned path led me to national championships I never thought I'd be at. But the rankings, the podiums, those are just landmarks. They are signs on a much more deep road. A map I only own because I had the courage to take on the detour and to take on the scenic route. I'm not here to give you a pep talk about motivation and how to never quit. I'm here to ask you to examine the permission slips within your own pockets. Who gave you a slip that says you're not a math person, or you don't belong here, or you can't do this? More importantly, I'm here to tell you to embrace your detours. They might look beautiful at the roadblocks. They might look like failure. They might look like a rejected application, like a broken plan. They might even feel like a waste of time. But what if they were the only way to get you where you wanted to be? What if the fastest, most steep road would have missed a view that changes everything? The trail that gives you the peace, the failure that forces you to get smarter, not just endlessly tired. Your beautiful detour is waiting for you to notice it. It's the project that flopped, revealing the skill you truly love. It's the job you didn't get that made you end up where your true people are. It's the heartbreak that opens you to a true kind of love. Life will hand you permission slips to quit the main road. Don't just take them. Take them out of your pocket, unfold them, and ask yourself one simple, powerful question. Does this give me permission to stop, or does it give me permission to finally change destination? The destination matters, but you, the person you become, the strength you build, the peace you find, are built entirely on the twists and turns, on the unexpected, beautiful detours you have the opportunity to take. Thank you.